The Conservative Party became a secret member of Jean Monnet's Action Committee for the United States of Europe in the late 60s, UKIP founder Alan Sked has claimed in an exclusive interview with Express. The Tories secured an incredible victory in last year's general election, capturing 364 of the 650 seats in the House of Commons. It was one of the biggest shifts in British political allegiances for decades, and it marked a personal triumph for Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who became the most successful Tory leader since Margaret Thatcher. The win meant Britain left the EU in January 2020 as, just like the Prime Minister said, nobody could refute his stonking mandate to deliver Brexit. Britain is now negotiating a free trade agreement with the EU, but time is running out as the transition period comes to an end on December 31. While some progress has been made during the latest round of talks, the government insists it is still preparing for the possibility that negotiations will collapse without reaching an agreement. The Tories' hardline stance comes as no surprise now, but it is somewhat ironic, given it was Conservative Prime Minister Edward Heath who took Britain into the European Economic Community (EEC), the precursor to the EU, in the first place. In an exclusive interview with Express.co.uk, UKIP founder Alan Sked also claimed the Tories were secretly signed up to Jean Monnet's Action Committee for the United States of Europe in the late 60s. Mr. Monnet was one of the founding fathers of the EU. In 1955, he founded the Action Committee for the United States of Europe in order to revive European construction following the failure of the European Defence Community (EDC). It brought political parties and European trade unions together to become a driving force behind the initiatives, which laid the foundation for the bloc as it eventually emerged. According to Professor Sked, former Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, who unsuccessfully applied for EEC membership on 2 occasions, was in close contact with Mr. Monnet during those years. The Emeritus Professor of International History at the London School of Economics (LSE) said, "A PhD student of mine once got hold of the Monnet papers in Switzerland. He discovered that Douglas Hurd, Edward Heath's sidekick, had signed the Tory party up to become a secret cooperative member of Monnet's Action Committee for the United States of Europe. Hurd did it through Lord Edwin Plowden's private account in the city. The original cost was £15,000 for the first year, which was quite a lot of money in the late 60s. The sum would be around £248,000 in today's money." Professor Sked added, Monnet's chief aide wrote a biography of him, in which he claimed the Labour and Liberal parties also became members. The British didn't know, but all the major parties were actually signed up for a federal Europe.